And in business, according to recent reports by United Capital, developments in the global economy remained what was described as bumpy in the first half of 2019. Now bringing this back home to Nigeria, it was expected that key indicators such as trade, monetary policy, geopolitics, a possible change in the leadership of the Apex Bank, amongst others, would drive structural changes in the economy. However, in the second half of the year, the report recommends that the President and the CBN Governor must battle structural and policy changes to keep output growth at a suboptimal level. To speak with me in the studio on the past and future performance outlook of the Nigerian economy is Wale Olusi. Thank you so much, Wale, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's just move straight into this. Can you briefly describe the Nigerian economic performance in the first half of 2019?
Okay, so I think the most interesting thing about the first half of 2019 was the fact that we had elections. The election came, well, pockets of violence, but it was peaceful on the whole. I think the next most important thing is that the president was re-elected, and immediately he was re-elected, he also reappointed the CBN governor. Those are two very, very important officials of the economy, the way you like it, because between the president and the CBN governor, their policies will broadly determine what is going to happen over the next 4 to 5 years. But after that, we saw GDP do 2%, which has been the same, growth rate for the last 6 to 7 quarters. It looks like the economy is struggling to, jump out of that 2% growth. But now that the two leaders are back, our expectation is that their policies are probably going to be similar to what they did in the last 4 to 5 years going forward.
All right, and it's good you just mentioned the fact that we still have a 2%, growth rate, GDP rate. But then now we see, what should we be checklisting in order to get what the CBN governor is expecting in terms of growth for the country?
Okay, so, following up on where I stopped earlier, what the CBN governor said immediately was also appointed was he wanted to achieve double-digit growth, if you remember, in his 5-year plan.
Yes.
Single-digit inflation rate, and all of that. Now, the nature of the CBN's policy, the way we've seen it, is good for lending. They want to compel banks to lend now. Over the last 2 weeks, the CBN has published 2 circulars. One of them, adjusting the minimum loan-to-deposit ratio for banks about 60%. 60%. And then limiting their deposits with the central bank to 2 billion, meaning banks must lend. Now, on the surface, this is good. It's good for lending. You need a lot of money to move around.
Circulation,
in the circulation. I think I just finished watching one of your programs now. Someone said there's not too much money in circulation. That's the truth. But the real problem are the structural factors that we need to fix. The CBN can't do it alone. You need fiscal authorities who are yet to be appointed, by the way. The ministers are not appointed. We don't know who the next Minister of Finance is. Minister for Budget and National Planning is not yet appointed. Minister for Trade and Investment. These are serious offices that they will determine decision-making going forward. Except these things are put in place and there's a policy coordination between the, both sides of policy making in the economy. It is unlikely that we'll be achieving the kind of, ambitious growth
that we are expecting.
That the CBN, is actually saying 10%, double digits. It looks like we are probably going to be locked within the 2%, 2.5% region for now, until we are able to take serious reform in sectors that can generate growth.
And I think this is a good time to also ask the effect of the delayed appointment of ministers in all of these very important areas.
Of course, it's important because, I want to take a decision. If I'm a foreign investor, I want to take a decision that has to do with investing in the oil sector, for example. One of the delay in that space is whether the PIB, Petroleum Industry Bill, will be passed or not. Is Nigeria going to commercialize or privatize the NNPC and all that? Except you have a minister in place to push, that bill through, even though it has been sitting with the National Assembly for a while now. The guy wants to know what the minister think and what is the future of that sector
yes.
before making, investment decision. Until such, investment are made, when such decisions are made, those guys don't come in to make investment. So what do you get? You get a kind of mega FDI that we've seen so far this year. The last report from MBS suggested that FDI into Nigeria was about $250 million. That's very small compared to what went into Ghana in the same period. If you annualize that, that's going to give you about $1 billion, US dollar in Nigeria in 2019, which is very, very low compared to what we're doing a couple years back. Nigeria has done 5 billion, 6, 7 billion in the past.
So we're now seeing some of our expected FDIs going to other neighboring countries.
They are more stable, it looks like they are better coordinated, and investors trust the policy.
And these are the things that investors are looking out for before coming in to invest in your country. Absolutely. All right, then finally, because we're out of time now, moving forward, what should we be looking out for in order to ensure short-term growth for the next 6 months?
Well, I think for the next 6 months, everything lies, all the bucks lie on the table of, the president as well as the central bank. The central bank need to, I know they did a number of calls before they came out with a 5-year plan, but they need to know what investors want to see. There's a lot of talk around whether they are going to do something to the naira. The banks recently have been, recalling their dollar liabilities. It looks like there's a concern around dollars.
Okay, I think that's all we can have for now, but thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you in the studio.